Hey, this is Mohammed from Education with a K, and in this video we're going to talk about how to form an offer. Right? This video is going to be specifically for test prepping companies, companies that offer certification trainings, companies that offer MCAT, GMAT, LSAT prep exams, prep services. So the offer is going to be extremely essential. And the reason why it's essential is because the offer is literally the first thing that the audience will see, right? The first thing the audience sees when they are ready to make that purchase, or will be the first thing they hear when they are ready to make that purchase. If you have a sales team, for example, you want to really nail down on how to form the offer. Okay, so the majority of people, what do? The majority of people say, let's use GMAT for example, right? The majority of people will say, you know what? Score 700 plus on the GMAT. All right. So you guys got to excuse me for my handwriting, but hopefully everything's legible. Score 700 plus on the GMAT exam. And then you'll go on another website, you'll see another competitor say the exact same thing, score 700 plus on the GMAT, or pass the GMAT, or get into medical school if you're teaching the MCAT, or get PMP certified. All right, so my industry was PMP, and a lot of companies would simply just say, pass the PMP. Now let me ask you this question. If the majority of customers, or the majority of customers are seeing different companies saying the exact same thing, what gives you that competitive edge? What gives you that USP, that unique selling point where they choose to do business with you? Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to define and talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's talk about the core elements of a structure. Okay, so you have three things that you have to include in every structure, in every offer. The first thing is going to be something known as desire. Now, we're going to define everything. The second thing is also going to be something that follows the desire, right? But decreases the time required to get there. Every single person, I call this the Amazon Prime effect. Amazon Prime effect. Every single person wants to get to where they want to get to faster. And this is something that we have to leverage and monetize off of as much as we can. Number three, we want to reduce the pain or sacrifice. I'm going to talk about all of this soon. Okay? This is going to be your core offer. This is going to be the first thing people see, for example, when they jump on your landing page. All right? So let's put this into an example really quickly. Let's say you are teaching the GMAT, right? You're teaching the GMAT. You're a GMAT test prep company, and you want to phrase your offer. Your offer right now is simply score 700 plus on the GMAT. But every single company out there is using the same sentence. How do you phrase this offer? Okay, so the desire, let's stick with that actually. Okay, score 700 plus on the GMAT. Now let's add 2 and 3. Okay, time constraint. Now you got to ask yourself, when it comes to the average student, the average person is preparing for this exam, how long does it take the average student? So let's say, for example, the average student takes about 3 to 4 months. And you've built this powerful program that will help them get certified in 1 month. So score 700 plus on the GMAT. Okay, let's change colors. In 30 days. Okay, in 30 days. That's your unique selling point. That tells the audience right away that, you know what, this person is going to is going to help me get to my goal much faster. Okay, so score 700 plus on the GMAT in 30 days. And now let's incorporate the pain and sacrifice without. So you want to include this without solving, let's say the most common pain point for many GMAT students is solving thousands and thousands and thousands of problems. So you want to take the most common pain point and you want to mention that without solving thousands of problems. Okay, without solving thousands of problems. Now, your pain point for your clients, for your students are going to be different. For me, for example, the pain point that most of our students faced is time constraint, that they didn't have much time, but they also did not want to memorize. So we said, get PMP certified in 30 days or less without memorizing a textbook. So you have to understand that, this has to speak to your audience. Actually, all of these components have to speak to your audience. Ask yourself, when people register for a GMAT prep service program or MCAT or LSAT, whatever it may be, what score are they looking for? What score is required? How much time does the average student need to take? Can I reduce that significantly? And what is the most common pain point? Okay, this is your core offer. This is your core offer. Now I want you to pause this video and I want you to start thinking about, okay, you know what? What does my audience want? Right over here. What is the average time it takes someone to get to that goal? Can I decrease it? And what is the most, if I were to just pick one pain point, what is the most common pain point that my audience faces? Can I build a program that totally eliminates that? All right. Now this is your core offer. This is what you're going to put on your landing page. You're going to have a nice landing page, clean. You're going to say, straight right away, score 700 plus on your GMAT in 30 days without solving thousands of problems. Okay. Now we're going to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to make your offer so irresistible, so amazing that they just can't say no to it. Okay, how to make your offer insanely, let's say insanely irresistible, right? Irresistible. You gotta forgive me for my handwriting. I'm writing on an iPad using a little Apple pen. I'm not used to it yet. Okay. Now this is something that's going to take time and it's going to take some iterations. Very, very important. But if you can do this, and if you can do this properly, you have no competition at that point. You have no competition at that point. So this is what's going to follow your core offer. When someone asks you, hey, Jeff, James, Mary, what do you offer? You're going to start with this. Yeah, you know what? We have a program that's going to help you get 700 plus in the GMAT. Don't worry about, the time. It's going to take you 30 days and you won't have to worry about solving thousands of problems. But they're going to ask you, okay, but what does it include? What does it include? Does it include an exam simulator? Does it include some cheat sheet terms? What does it include? So this is where the continuation of the offer comes into play. And remember, there's a very big difference between saying, hey, our program includes 3 exams, 3 test exams, 3 mock exams, in comparison with saying, listen, our program includes 3 mock exams, but these mock exams only include high impact questions that cover every single topic that you can expect on the exam. There's a very big difference between those two things. Okay, so let's talk about this. So how to make your offer insanely irresistible. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, and you list them, list everything. List everything. What are my clients' most common pain points? Okay. Now, some of these things are going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but you want to list them all out. Okay, so let's do this together. Let's say, for example, we are helping business students, people that are in business, not business school, but people that are in the profession of business. They work for corporate companies. We're helping them get into business school by preparing them for the GMAT exam. So some of the pain points that they might have is 9 to 5, right? No time. Another pain point that they might have is maybe they have a family. They just don't have that much time or energy to spend, all right? Lack of energy, let's just say. Now let's go a little bit more specific. Let's say, for example, that they don't have the capacity to solve thousands of problems. Okay? Let's say, for example, they've studied, but they're still not getting the answers right. Let's say another problem is they can't beat the clock, right? So they're getting the answers right, or maybe they're getting them wrong, but regardless, they're not within the time that it takes to answer the questions. So you want to continue this list, continue it. And in this list, there's no ridiculous answers. There's no stupid answers. You want to just keep on building this list as much as you possibly can. You want to make sure that every single box is checked. The next step now is to take all of these things and to add a resource that addresses that specific pain point. Add a resource that literally says to your audience that, listen, I know you have this problem. But we have something that's going to offer a solution to it, or we have something that's going to eliminate that problem. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Let's take this as an example, right? I have a 9 to 5, I have no job. So what we did for our program, for our PMP Accelerator program, if you're not familiar with the PMP is a standardized exam that helps people that manage projects become professional project managers. One of the most sought after certifications for professionals, okay? And one of the most common pain points we've had is that, listen, Mohammed, I work 9 to 5. I come back home, I have a couple of hours left, and I also have a family. I don't have that time, I don't have that energy, I don't have that capacity to spend hours and hours and hours every single day. And the really good thing is the average time it took some students to finish the program outside of our program was about 3 to 4 months. So we had a very, very good competitive advantage because we promised 30 days, okay? So 9 to 5 and family, a lack of energy. So what we did was we built a schedule. Our whole program is based on it, but we built a schedule. We call it 30 in 30 PMP schedule. Okay? Where we show our audience members exactly what they have to do every single day for the next 30 days by only spending 30 minutes every day. Okay? Now, think about how powerful that is. Now, obviously, it might be the case that your program or the nature of your exam, you might not be able to do that, right? So you'll have to find out what numbers work for you. But it takes an average student 3 to 4 months to pass this exam. We're saying, you know what, forget about 3 to 4 months. You're going to pass this exam in 30 days, and you're only going to spend 30 minutes a day. Now you ask yourself this question now, does this schedule over here, does it solve the issue over here? It does. It solves it. Their main concern was, Mohammed, I don't have time, nor do I have the energy. Then I asked them, can you dedicate 30 minutes a day? Yeah, that's not bad. Can you dedicate 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days? Yeah, let's do it. You solve the problem right there. Okay, so you can build a schedule, you can build some sort of digital resource that you can keep reusing to solve that issue. All right, so you want to do the same thing for the entire list that you've created. Okay, you want to do that. You want to have some resource that addresses that issue, right? And you want to name it something that attracts the audience. People are attracted to new things. If you simply tell them that I'm going to give you a schedule, that's not as attractive as I'm going to give you the 30 in 30 PMP accelerator schedule or whatever course you're teaching. Okay, so that's the first step that you want to do. You want to build this list. The second thing you want to do is, let's go over here. You want to reverse the risk. Or actually, you know what? You want to eliminate the risk. Let's talk about this. Human beings are naturally risk averse, meaning that they tend to run away from risk. Okay? That's just who we naturally are. We tend to conserve as many resources as we possibly can. Now, if you understand that from a business perspective, you can leverage it and make it easier for your clients or your potential clients to say yes to your offer. Now, how do you do that? Well, you offer back a money back guarantee. You offer back a money back guarantee. I didn't have a money back guarantee in the beginning when I first started. I was afraid to offer that back. But when I did offer it, our sales jumped by approximately 50%, give or take. And it was insane. It was just a small tweak, but it made such a difference. Okay? Now, I know a lot of you don't like doing this. You don't like offering back a money back guarantee. You don't like doing that. And the reason you don't want to do that is because people are not serious. Some people take advantage. And I have the same exact concerns as a business owner. What you want to do is you want to offer that 100% money back guarantee. You're going to get more clients from that. But you also want to stipulate some conditions. Conditions that validate that the student has actually gone through the program and has actually put in a genuine effort. All right, it's up to you what you want to basically stipulate. But for us, we say, you know what, you have to finish the program in 30 days. You have to score 80% or above on the mock exams. We say 80% because that's the standard of what you should score on your mock exams before taking the actual PMP exam, okay? But it'll be different for your exams. And if you meet these two conditions and you still don't pass, we will give you back your guarantee. We will give you back your money that you invested. Make the conditions reasonable. Don't tell your audience member that, hey, listen, you got to go to the moon if you want to get your refund back. And the reason being is because they're going to lose trust. They're going to be like, okay, this guy is trying to just not give me a genuine offer, but he or she is simply trying to say, you're not getting your money back. All right? But I promise you this. Let's say, for example, every month you have 50 clients and you don't offer a guarantee. At the end of that month, if you start offering a guarantee, instead of 50, you're going to get much more. Let's say 80, for example. And let's say out of the 80, let's say 10 of them are eligible for a refund. You're still left with what? You're still left with 70 clients that have paid, which is a 20 client jump from the previous month. Okay? All right, so let's do a quick recap. Very important. I want you to do this exercise. It takes time. It's an iterative process, but it's a very, very powerful thing. So again, your core offer, you have your desire, time constraint, and pain. For example, score 700 plus on the GMAT in 30 days without solving thousands of problems. Okay? The time constraint and the pain and even the desire is going to be according to your test prepping business, according to what you offer. The next thing you want to do is to help your offer become insanely irresistible is to make a list of all the pain points that your potential client can face, all the questions, all the objections, every single thing you can possibly think about. And if you're stuck, a really good resource that you could use is Reddit. Go on Reddit, search up MCAT, LSAT, GMAT, Prep, or whatever it may be, PMP, CISSP, and see what people are complaining about. Make the list and then have a resource that directly addresses that list. Thirdly, introduce a money-back guarantee. Stipulate some conditions so you can weed out the people that are serious from the ones that are not serious. And I promise you, if you do these and if you implement it and if you build this offer, your offer is going to be so insanely irresistible that any student out there that's preparing for their exams will want to do business with you. And ask yourself this question: how many businesses are actually doing this? How many businesses are addressing every single concern that a potential client has? Not much, all right? Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is Mohammed from Education with AK, where we help businesses that deal with test prepping companies, test prepping services, learn about business and marketing so they can scale their businesses and get as many clients as possible. Please subscribe and leave a like. I'll see you guys in the next video.